Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World Dominion review. Today we're going to take a look at two figures, the Raw-Strikers, Rajasaurus, and Skorpiovenator. I decided to review both these figures at the same time because they're both abelisaurs, and I will probably do the same exact comparisons if I reviewed these figures separately. So I decided to save your time and mine by doing both at the same time. Now these figures are part of the Raw Strikers set, the Raw Vores, Raw Attack. It just keeps getting, renamed. They're the same type of figures. They have an action feature and they have electronic sounds. They both retail for $14.99 each. I ended up finding these at Target, but they're also being found at Walmart. I'll leave links down below to Target, Walmart, Amazon if you feel like ordering these figures online for yourselves. So yeah, like I always say, I like the new species Mattel gives us. These are both abelisaurs, which are related to carnivores, and both of them are, as far as I can tell from looking at them in the packaging, are two separate molds, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I do like the variety Mattel has been giving us with species. Like you hold the gun to my head, I would never guess that we'd see Skorpiovenator or Rajasaurus ever in the Jurassic World line. So before we crack these two figures open, let's go over the packaging really quick. We only need to go over one. Comes in the new Raw Striker style packaging. Got the Dominion logo down here. There's Rexy, helicopter flying overhead. Couple pictures showing how the Raw Striker action works. Turn the box to the side. Oh look, there's Pyroraptor. Everyone's wondering where the figure is. Don't worry, we will eventually get one. And then in the back of the box, it shows you how that Raw Striker action works. And then down here are the other figures available in this wave. There's actually four. Both are, just repaints of older figures. The Ankylosaurus, I kind of like that one. Maybe I'll pick it up. Nope, not pick up the Triceratops. I like the design of the mold, but like a lot of people feel it's just way too small. I have a bunch of them already. I don't need any more, so I will not be picking the Triceratops up. I have my fingers crossed that the Hammond collection would possibly give us a slightly bigger Triceratops, but so the price for it, it's $20 with the same price as the Baryonyx and Parasaurolophus, which means it's probably going to be the same old small trike, so not happy about that. So anyways, enough about the packaging. Let's crack these two figures open and take a closer look. And of course, since these are Raw Striker figures, you do have to attach the tail. Just push it in until you hear a click, and that is a one-time assembly. You will not be getting it out, and your figure is now complete. And let's start with a nice 360-degree view of these two figures. The yellow one, Skorpiovenator, is from the late Cretaceous of Argentina, is one of the best-known abelisaurs. The short version of what an abelisaur is, they're just really short-armed theropods, mostly known from the southern hemisphere. The brown one, Rajasaurus, is from the late Cretaceous of India, and I think that one's really only known from a skull. I really do like both figures. They're nicely sculpted. They're not accurate. We're not buying these figures because they're accurate. We're just buying them because they're fun toys. Like the head on the Skorpiovenator is absolutely huge. The arms really aren't right. Belosaurus should not have elbows. They have really puny, useless arms. But I think they're really nicely sculpted figures. Unfortunately, both figures really suffer from the lack of paint apps. Rajasaurus is just pretty much straight brown with just a little bit of dark gray and like another splash of color, and that's it. All that paint stops right before the hind legs, and it's been really nice that those color schemes continued onto the hind legs and down to the tails. My favorite paint job out of the two is the Skorpiovenator. Just like that bright yellow, how it contrasts with the dark gray. You do have a little couple streaks of white on there, but that's it. Just really not excellent paint apps, but it gets the job done. I do quite enjoy both figures. And now for some measurements. Let's start with Rajasaurus. This figure is 13 inches long and about 5 inches tall. So Rajasaurus had two, greatly varying size estimates. One is 22 feet long, the other one is 34.5 feet long. So with those two measurements, that put this figure, measurements, would put this figure in the 120 to the 132 scale range. And let's move this little brown guy off to the side, and let's do Skorpiovenator. Same thing, exactly the same length, 13 inches long, 5 inches tall. Skorpiovenator in real life was 19.7 feet long, so I'll put this figure perfectly in the 118 scale range. Now let's first take a look at Skorpiovenator. It's my favorite of the two. I just find it really surprising that they gave us two abelisaurs in, one wave of figures. Quite pleased that, this species of theropods. I've seen a lot of action figures in the Mattel line, so I think we got 4 right now. And I think they said there's a Rugops plan. So yeah, pretty cool that these theropod species are getting some recognition from Mattel. They love doing obscure species, and that's one of the main reasons why I really like the Jurassic World line. So let's take a look at the head. The head is painted in this dark gray paint. You do have some highlights of white. Very short and bull-like skull. Very similar to Carnotaurus, obviously lacking the big brow horns. Teeth are nicely painted in off-white color. The lower jaw has some amazing sculpted detail on all varying size scales. You have some nice large scales lining the lip area. Inside the mouth, you have some nice glossy red plastic. And then even the roof of the mouth has the red plastic. That's pretty nicely done. And they have all these little horns all over the head to kind of give it that monstrous appearance. And looking at it from the front, you can see that very wide and short looking skull. The eye is painted bright yellow with a black pupil. Hooray for Mattel for actually, wait a minute, before I give them credit. Nope, they did not paint the eye black. That is just the dark gray. Underneath it, shame on you, Mattel. It actually looks fine on this, but on some of the other figures, like I think the old Charlie figure, they didn't do that. It was just the green plastic for the pupil and shown through, so that's fine. That really doesn't bother me. But I'm watching you. You got some more of those white markings going down the neck, going down to about the midpoint of the body. So have all these nice horns adorned all over the head, and then when you get to the back, you get this like keeled scale look, which is really, really cool looking. I wish there were more paint apps on it to really bring it out. But, a nice custom paint job on this is really going to make this figure look absolutely amazing. Going down to the main body, you got more of those keeled scales, and then you transition to this nice, fine, pebble-like skin. Going down to the arms, they're short and tiny. They should be a lot shorter and tiny. Really shouldn't have elbows, but whatever, it is what it is. You can see the hand claws aren't painted in, and you do get some articulation on them. You can swing the arms out, so you can do the classic abelisaur want to smash look, and then they can move backwards and forwards. Going down to the hind legs, you get some more a patch of keeled scales on the thighs. Going down to the feet, nice muscular looking legs, a lot more scale detail. Toe claws aren't painted in, pretty typical. And then going down to the tail, you get more of those keeled scales and really nice scale detail all the way down to the tip. It's just a shame the whole figure doesn't have a lot more paint apps, because it's beautifully done. I just wish there was more paint on it to bring out the details. And before we forget, gotta pop up that scan code for those of you that want to scan this into the Fax app. There it is. And for leg articulation, hey, settle down there. We will get to the action feature momentarily. Legs can move backwards and not really much forward movement, because the leg is going to hit the chest cavity, and the tail just rotates uselessly 360 degrees. And now let's bring out Rajasaurus, and then we'll jump into the action feature for both figures. And now for Rajasaurus, another nicely sculpted figure, lots and lots of details on there, just hampered by a lackluster paint job. You do have some gray paint for around the eye, and then you have a splash of red in there. The eye is actually, painted, it's yellow with a black pupil. Then you have all these really large scales for the lower jaw. Teeth, same thing, nice off-white color, nice glossy red plastic for the tongue, and roof of the mouth. And you have all horns all over the head. You actually have this big horn on the top of the forehead like that, which is true to the real life animal. Like I said, Rajasaurus is pretty much known from a complete skull, so the rest of the body is unknown, but it's probably going to follow a similar abelisaur plan. The arms are definitely way too big for an abelisaur. These look like a standard theropod arm. Kind of just wish they would give them like those tiny, like no elbow Carnotaurus arms, but I guess they just want the figures to look different from each other. Going down to the neck, you have a splash of tan colored paint. You get some more of those dark gray paint all the way down to about the halfway point of the body, and that's where all the paint stops. You have a nice row of spikes. You have some large osteoderm rows starting at the neck, getting larger as you get down to the body. and then a bunch of them on the tail, almost to the tip of the tail, going down to the arms. Like I said, way too muscular and big for an abelisaur. They can move forwards and backwards. Same thing there on a hinge, and then going down to the legs. Nice muscular legs, a lot of fine scale detail. Toe claws are not painted in. And let's pop up the scan code before I forget about it. There it is. If you want to scan it into the fax app, and then let's tuck that away. Here is the figure from the top. Like I said, beautifully sculpted figure. Just really needs more paint apps. I like these really large, like spiky osteoderms. Almost looks like armor plating along it. I do like some of the creative liberties that Mattel takes with some of their figures, especially in the tail right here, because it has such a weird asymmetrical look of like how this is done. And I think that looks pretty cool. We already did the articulation on the Skorpiovenator, exactly the same on this, just the arm movement, and the legs can move backwards and a little bit more forward on this one because the chest cavity is not as deep as it is on Skorpiovenator. But that's pretty much it. So let's take both figures out and go over the action feature, which I actually like. It's pretty clever, way better than what we got in Dino Escape. No more stupid giant switch buttons, so thankfully those are gone. Now to activate the action feature on these figures, it's actually kind of clever. I wouldn't mind if they did this the whole time. It just totally gets rid of the buttons, and they probably got rid of the buttons because of the little scan code thing, but the way this works is pretty cool. All you need to do is just push down on the hip region, and that's it. It's simple, it's effective, and I like it. Like, I'll bring it up close so you can see how it looks. You just need to push the leg up and you see it slide up, and that will activate everything. You can hear all the roars that come with it. Now they both have different sound bites. Let's do the Rajasaurus now. So yeah, I think these are all new sounds. Someone that has a better ear than me probably will correct me in the comments, but like I said, really like how this action feature works. I wish they did something like this similar for Dino Escape, because I did not buy a lot of the roar attacks because I did not like that giant slider button, but this is definitely much better. Moving on with comparisons, first up, here they are with Claire. And next up, let's do some smaller species. Here they are with the Extreme Damage Blue, and here it is with one of the Atrociraptors. And next up, here it is with the Yang Choanosaurus. And let's do a little abelisaur family reunion. Here is Toro the Carnotaurus, and here is the Primal Attack Majungasaurus. And since this is on the side of the studio, and here's the small Carnotaurus you get with the Owen Escape Pack. So yeah, pretty cool that Mattel is giving this group of theropods some love. I really like all the figures. I think they all turned out good. My favorite out of this whole bunch is still the Majungasaurus. That is an awesome figure, and another one of those rare figures that never ever got repainted. Maybe we'll see a version of it pop up somewhere in the Dominion line. And next, here it is with the Therizinosaurus that I mercifully took the batteries out. I love that toy, but man, that thing just, every time I even like looked at it, the sound just went off. I had to take the batteries out. It was driving me nuts, especially since I take it out for pretty much every comparison in the Dominion line. The batteries just had to go. And lastly, here is your obligatory Rexy comparison. So final thoughts on these two figures. I really like them. I really enjoy the line for giving us some obscure species, and Mattel has been doing a great job of that lately. Both figures are beautifully sculpted, like really nice detailed sculpts. Unfortunately, they're held back by lackluster paint jobs. I just wish some of those paint just, expand a little bit onto the legs and onto the tail. For some reason, Mattel just really does not like giving some of their figures a lot of paint apps, and I think these two definitely suffer from that. I like the action feature. I think it's very clever. Just push it on the back, activates it. No buttons, nothing in the way to break up the sculpt. Really liking that. Hopefully they keep that feature around for a while. And I really like these so much, I might pick up another Skorpiovenator because the sculpt on it is absolutely amazing looking. I want to test my hands at giving it a custom paint job. I have not done any repaints in forever. I seriously need to find more time doing it. I don't even remember what the last one I did. I know I have like 3 or 4 like half-finished projects sitting down in the basement. One day I'll get to them. Now, like I said at the beginning of the review, you can find these figures at Walmart, Target. I think some people find these at Macy's. They're up for order on Amazon. I'll leave a bunch of links down below in the description if you want to order these figures online. So that will do it for the review. The Dominion pile is getting smaller. Now I have to go back and re-record my Owen and Beta review. I finished it the other day. Went to edit it all together, and my microphone came unplugged like halfway through the review, and the audio is just absolutely terrible. So now I have the joy of going over Owen again. So I'm gonna work on that one. I'll probably have that one posted up like tomorrow morning, and I'll just keep continually posting these Dominion reviews until I'm done. Still got a couple more Collect Day figures. I got Namu figures coming in. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff to look forward to on the channel. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on the channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.